everybody, it's Kayla, back again with more bad fanfiction theater, and this time we're doing Cupcakes. So, pretty much the same as Sweet Apple Massacre. This is a challenge fic. Who's showing Hawkeye refused to do this with me, so I am doing it by myself. Hopefully by now I've had the bonus video go up, which details what everybody likes and dislikes and what we'd more or less be willing to read. And hopefully in the future that helps provide more insights so that it's just not little old me making you very bored and wish you never subscribed to my channel. So, I think that's really all that needs to be discussed before I get into the story. So, let's see here. Of course, like I said, it's Cupcakes by Sergeant Sprinkles, World's Greatest Party Clown. Apparently this is an edited version. I'm reading it on Google Docs. I don't know where to find the original, or if an original copy exists. This was the first one I found, and so is the one I'm reading. So, let's get started. If I don't scroll past the beginning, like I keep trying to. The air was warm, the sun was shining, and every pony in Ponyville was having a glorious day. The town square was bustling, and crowded and busy ponies filled the streets. All the pony folk seemed to have somewhere specific to be. All except Rainbow Dash, and my cat decides now to bother me. Get off my foot. Izzy, that's my foot you're on. All except Rainbow Dash. Her place was in the sky. She tore freely through the air, speeding one way and the next, buzzing the treetops and the racing wind. The blue Pegasus swooped over a schoolyard, much to the delight of the children, then climbed several hundred feet and dove, streaking downward as fast as she could. Seconds before hitting the ground, her wings flew open and she pulled up back into the clear blue. Rainbow felt alive. Suddenly, Dash remembered that she had somewhere to be. She was supposed to meet with Pinkie Pie in 5 minutes. Oh, I don't know how you forget, or how you know it's exactly 5 minutes. Do you wear a watch on your leg, or what exactly? Dash had gotten so caught up in her exercises — this was exercising, I thought you were showing off for the kids — that she nearly forgotten that Pinkie had asked to meet her at Sugar Cube Corner at 3. Pinkie hadn't said why or what they'd be doing, but Dash knew that with Pinkie it could be anything. Dash wasn't sure if she really wanted to go, though she was so engaged with her stunts that she thought about blowing Pinkie off to continue flying. But Dash's conscience got the better of her. She knew that it would hurt Pinkie's feelings. After all, Pinkie had said it was going to be something special just for the two of them. Dash considered it and thought, why not? What did she have to lose? Heck, it might be more pranking, my bad. Might be more pranking. Pinkie might have found a bunch more stuff to pull on folks, and they'd had so much fun the last time. Dash kicked into overdrive to make up for lost time and sped to her appointment. Which I would say, if you really didn't want to go, you should have just said something, but whatever. When Dash walked into the store, she was immediately greeted by her host, who was bouncing in excitement. "Yay, you're here! I've been waiting all day," said the jumpy pony. "Sorry if I'm a little late, Pinkie. I was doing my afternoon exercises and lost track of time." Dash apologized. Well, at least she did something useful with her time, like apologizing. Pinkie giggled and responded in a gleeful, reassuring tone. There should be a comma there, but whatever. Oh, that's okay. You're here now. What's a few more minutes? I've been so excited thinking about all the fun stuff we're gonna do. I haven't stopped bouncing since I woke up. I mean, I almost forgot to breathe. I've been so happy. You can't forget to breathe, and why am I highlighting that? I don't know. Dash gave a slightly uncomfortable laugh. She had always appreciated Pinkie Pie's friendly, outgoing way of life, but Pinkie's overabundant enthusiasm almost creeped her out. You know, if you're a little creeped out by her, why are you hanging out with her? Like, seriously. Dash maintained a polite expression, however. If Pinkie was this worked up, whatever she had planned must be good. So, you ready to get started, Rainbow Dash? I've got everything all ready, the pink pony said. Dash psyched herself up. You betcha, Pinkie. So, what do you got planned? We gonna prank somebody? I got a couple of good ones I've been thinking about. Or maybe you've got some stunts you think I should try, or perhaps making cupcakes, Pinkie happily announced. Baking? Dash was disappointed. Pinkie, you know I'm not good at baking. Remember last time? Oh, that's not a problem at all. I only need your help making them. I'll be doing most of the work, Pinkie explained. Dash thought about it for a second. Well, alright, I guess that's okay. What exactly do you need me to do? That's the spirit. Here you go. Pinkie handed Dash a cupcake. Is this gonna be a force-feeding fic? Dash was puzzled. I thought I was helping you bake. You will be. I made this one just for you before you got here. So, is this like taste testing or something? Sorta, Pinkie said. Dash shrugged and popped the pastry in her mouth. She chewed a bit and swallowed. Not bad. Okay, now what? Dash asked. Now, Pinkie informed her, you take a nap. Puzzled, Dash opened her mouth but felt instantly lightheaded. She's going to become ingredients for the cupcakes. Fantastic! What do I win? Aww. A wave of dizziness washed over her, and the world spun, and seconds later she collapsed on the floor. When Dash regained consciousness, she found herself in a dark room. She tried to shake her head, but found that a taut leather strap held it firmly in place. She struggled to move, but braces around her chest and limbs glued her to a rack formed from a series of sturdy planks, which spread her legs wide apart. Dash's wings were the only part of her not tied down, and they fluttered frantically while she struggled to escape. As she writhed, Pinkie jumped suddenly into her line of sight. Goody, you're awake! Now we can get started, Pinkie stated gleefully. She bounded into the darkness. She bounded? Well, I think you could use a better choice of words, but I don't think that's technically wrong in the context, and quickly reappeared, pushing a small cart covered with a cloth. Pinkie, what's going on? I can't move, said Dash urgently. Well, duh, that's because you're tied down, chided Pinkie. That's why you can't move. I didn't think you'd need to be told that. But why? What's happening? I thought you said I was going to help you make cupcakes. You are helping. You see, I ran out of the special ingredient, and I need you to get more. Special ingredient? Dash was now breathing heavily and starting to panic. What special ingredient? Pinkie giggled and responded, You silly! Dash's eyes widened and her face contorted in fear. Then she started to laugh and said, in a voice bordering on hysteria, Woo! You nearly got me there, Pinkie Pie. I mean, shouldn't pie be capitalized? Whatever. I mean, tricking me into thinking I'm gonna get made into cupcakes. I gotta tell you, that's the best prank yet. You win, you're the best. Pinkie only giggled even more. Aw, thanks, Dash, but I haven't done any pranks today, so I can't accept your praise. Dash was struggling again. Pinkie, come on, this isn't funny. Then why are you laughing? Before Dash could answer, Pinkie grabbed the cloth and whipped it off the cart. On the cart was a tray containing various sharp medical tools and knives. Careful carefully organized in wicked sharp, as well as a large medical bag. Dash was now in full panic mode. She was starting to hyperventilate. Her mind raced as she tried to reason with the pink pony. "You can't do this, Pinkie. I'm your friend." "I know you are, and that's why I'm so happy I've got you here. We get to share your last moments together. Just you and me." Pinkie was skipping again. "But the other ponies will wonder where I am. When the clouds pile up, they'll come looking for me, and then you'll get found out," Dash cried in desperation. "Oh, Dash," said Pinkie, "don't worry. There are plenty of Pegasus ponies to take care of a few clouds. And besides, no one will find out. I mean, how long do you think I've been doing this?" And with that ominous statement, the lights suddenly came to life and revealed the rest of the room. Oh, this is going to be horribly glorious, isn't it? And when I say horribly glorious, I don't mean in a good way. "Oh no," Dash reeled in horror at the image presented to her. The room was decorated with a typical but twisted Pinkie Pie flair. Colorful streamers of dried entrails fluttered around on the ceiling. Brightly painted skulls of all sizes were attached to the walls, and organs done up in pastels filled with helium. What? Organs done up in pastels filled with helium were tied to the back of chairs. I don't think you can use your inner organs to do that. Like, they're so not balloons. Like, that's not... Okay, maybe your lungs... This could be possible with your lungs, but not with any other part of your body. That doesn't make any sense. That would so not work. I'm sorry, you're trying to paint this horrible, terrible picture in my mind, but really? That's not even realistic. Okay, painted skulls, okay. Somebody thought putting entrails around like garland, okay, probably pretty stinky in there, but sure. Putting helium inside body organs, and somehow they float and are tied to back of chairs like some kind of balloon thing? No, like, not even, that doesn't even make sense. Even in a stupid story like this. That's not scary. That's dumb. The tables and chairs were made of bones and the preserved flesh of past ponies. I don't know how you could actually tell that they were pony parts. I mean, you could easily assume, I guess, but whatever. So, Pinkie Pie is sort of like the Creeper from Jeeper Creeper. Sort of. Except she's not like a demon thing that, you know, preys on people for 23 days every 23 years. Dash cringed upon seeing the centerpiece of the table nearest to her. The heads of 4 foals, their eyes closed as if they were sleeping, were wearing party hats made from their own skin. Okay, see, now that's creepy. That's good and creepy. If you want me to, like, really like your story, that there is good and creepy. It looks like they're sleeping. They're obviously dead, but it looks like they're sleeping, and they're wearing party hats made from their own flesh. That's good and creepy. I like that. As a horror fan, I love that. That's actually pretty good. Yeah. With a thrill of terror, Dash recognized one of them as Apple Bloom's classmate, Twist. Dash's eyes darted back and forth, and then fell upon a patchwork banner hanging from the rafters. Made from several tanned pony hides, the words, "Life is a party," were scrawled on it in blood red. Well, is it like actual blood? Because if it's actual blood, it's not red anymore. It's probably a nasty looking brown. depending on how old the blood is, and probably chipping away. But it could just be blood red lettering. Dash's attention was brought back by a party horn unfurling and tickling her nose. We forgot an S there. She gasped at Pinkie Pie, who was standing right in front of her. The party pony was wearing a dress quilted from dried skin, emblazoned, with cutie marks on her back. On her back fluttered 6 Pegasus wings, all of 15 different colors, as the Earth Pony skipped in excitement. Her necklace of several unicorn horns clacked together loudly. Like it? Pinkie asked. I made it myself. Which I don't know how you're a horse. You know, you don't have hands. I mean, I guess you could use your mouth, but anyway. Desperately, Dash pleaded with the smiling pony before her. Pinkie, please. I'm sorry if I did anything to you. I didn't mean it. Please let me go. I promise I won't tell anybody. Oh, Dash, you didn't do anything. It's just that your number came up, and, well, I don't make rules. We can't turn back now. It'd be nice if this is further elaborated on. I'd be interested in, like, your number came up, so she's just gonna, like, you were selected, and I can't change that, so I have to kill you now. Bye. Dash was tearing up. How could this be happening? Aw, don't be sad, Dash, said Pinkie. Look, this'll cheer you up. I brought you a friend. Oh, goody. We're gonna kill more people. Seemingly out of nowhere, Pinkie produced a brightly painted blue and yellow skull. It was about pony size, and it had a very defining feature, a beak. Wait, a beak? Dash It's gasp, you idiot. It's gasp. There's an S in it. Unless we mean gape. If we mean gape, yeah, that's entirely different. But I'm reading that as gasp without an S. Gasped in shock. Is that... Hey, Dash, let's hang together. These ponies are lamos. Dweebs, Pinkie mimicked. I caught her right before she left town. Remember when I left the party for about 20 minutes? That wasn't enough time to play with her, of course. I had to wait till after the party to do that. But boy, am I glad I did. It was worth it for the flavor alone. Griffins taste like 2 animals at once. It's amazing. I know she doesn't have a number like everyone else in Ponyville, but when was I gonna get another chance to try Griffin? I probably should have asked where she came from so I could have gotten more, but I forgot. I'll tell you what though, she was quite the fighter. She lasted a long time, which was a lot of fun for me. I got the chance to play with somebody other than a pony and try new things. It's too bad she had such a meanie mouth. She said so much bad stuff, I just had to take her tongue out. You know, bad language makes for bad feelings, Rainbow Dash. You know, this is like my perfect psychotic character. Like, this character is clearly insane. I'm really liking it. I'm sorry for anybody who felt that this was going to make me angry or something. I'm actually really enjoying this. Maybe that's the sadist in me or something. I don't know. I tend to like horror, so yay. Dash didn't have anything to say. She just sobbed and writhed in her tight bonds. Well, said Pinkie with an air of finality, that's enough reminiscing. It's time to begin. Putting down Gilda's skull, the pink pony gripped a scalpel in the cleft of her hoof. That's not how it works. It would make more sense in her mouth. gripped the scalpel in the cleft of her hoof, and walked over to Dash's right flank. Without any flair, Pinkie placed the blade an inch above Dash's kiwi mark and began a circular cut around it. Dash shouted in pain and tried desperately to pull away, but the braces held her still. Finishing the incision, Pinkie grabbed a curved skinning knife from the tray, screwing up her face in concentration. She worked it under Dash's skin and sliced the hide away from the muscle. Dash ground her teeth as she tearfully watched her flesh peel off. Pinkie then moved to the other side and repeated the process on Dash's left flank. Once she had finished, Pinkie held up both cutie marks in front of her friend and started waving them like pom-poms. Dash just whimpered. Her thighs burned like nothing she had felt before. Placing the ragged patches of skin down. I accidentally skipped like a whole line. Placing the ragged patches of skin down, Pinkie selected a large butcher knife and walked behind the blue Pegasus. Hope you don't mind. I think I'm gonna wing it now. Really? Pun? Okay, I know, like, apparently you're an evil pony, but really, you're gonna, okay, fine, throw puns in there. I hope you don't mind. I think I'm gonna wing it now, Pinkie laughed. She grabbed Dash's left wing in her mouth and played with it for a few seconds, yanking it back so the sharp pain reignited the fire in Dash's flanks. Then, stretching the wing out, Pinkie brought the blade down hard at the base. Instantly, Dash screamed and thrashed her appendage. The movement threw off Pinkie's aim. She tried to hit the mark again, but missed, and carved a huge slice into Dash's back. Dash, you gotta stay still, or I'll keep missing, scolded Pinkie as her friend howled. Pinkie took another whack and hit her target. She swung again and again. Blood sprayed into the air, but Pinkie realized she wasn't getting anywhere. The blade just wasn't going through the bone. I guess I forgot to sharpen it. I'll try something else, stated Pinkie matter-of-factly as she tossed the knife over her shoulder, embedding the blade in the table. Through the haze of pain and tears, Dash heard the sound of a metal box opening and closing. Got it. Say, Dash, why do they call it a hacksaw? It doesn't hack. Hacking is what I was doing with the knife. This is a saw. I don't get it. Pinkie placed the tools over the mangled flesh of the last attempt. Standing on her hind legs, she worked the saw back and forth with her front hooves. It sliced effortlessly through the bone and skin. The feeling of the jagged teeth grinding into her made Dash want to vomit. She watched numbly as her wing flew over her head and landed with a fluff on the table. Pinkie moved to the next wing and started sawing. Dash didn't struggle this time. She'd given up trying to fight and focused on choking back screams of agony. Abruptly, the sawing paused. Pinkie was only halfway done, the wing hanging off by a sliver. Hey, Dash, Pinkie piped up. Think fast. Suddenly, Pinkie yanked the wing as hard as she could. The bone Ow! The bone snapped, but the blue pony's skin held, then tore away. The pull ripped away a long strip of flesh all the way down Dash's back to her rump. Her body seized at the unexpected trauma. As her pelvis tensed up, Dash felt a warm release between her legs, and her loud, unending melody of pain filled the room. Unable to catch her breath, she blacked out. I don't really understand, but apparently she is somehow still alive after all this. Dash Dash awoke with a gasp. The stench of her urine filled her mucus-caked nostrils. As her vision swam into focus, she saw a very pouty Pinkie Pie removing a large adrenaline needle from her chest. So we died? She actually died, and then, Crazy Pony here brought her back with adrenaline to her heart. Okay, sure, why not? Stomping her hooves, the frustrated Pinkie lashed out at her helpless victim. Didn't anybody teach you any manners? It's very rude to fall asleep when somebody invites you over to spend time with them. How would you like it if I came over to your house and went to sleep? Oh, I'm sorry, Dash. You're so boring. I think I'll take a nap. You think I like always doing this by myself? I told you how excited I got when I found you were next. I was excited to have a friend be here with me while I worked, but no, you've got to be inconsiderate, you know. I thought you were tough. I thought you could handle anything. I've had full stand-up better than you. Do I have to baby you, huh? Is that how you want me to remember you, as a baby? You know, if I was in this situation, and even though I'm a human and I'm able to give a middle finger, I'd be like, fuck you and your damn expectations. You can go suck a cock. And then get beat over the head with a tree and struck by lightning multiple times until you're dead. As Pinkie stopped to catch her breath, Dash blinked and sobbed softly. Her back was in agony, her sides were on fire, and there was an intense pain in one of her legs. Oh, I don't think you want to know about your leg. As she blinked again, she saw Pinkie pop something red into her mouth and began to chew. Noticing Dash's stare, Pinkie quickly gulped the morsel down. What? Pinkie asked. Oh, this. She held up another piece. Well, while you were asleep, I got a little impatient and helped myself to a small sample. I got it from your leg. You're not bad. Want to try some? No, thank you. I don't want to eat any part of myself. You know, if eating another of your kind is cannibalism, what would be eating pieces of yourself? Would that still be cannibalism? I'm not quite sure. Without waiting for a response, Pinkie shoved the strip of meat into the revolted Pegasus pony's mouth. Dash gagged and immediately spit it out. Pinkie frowned and picked up the chunk of flesh. If you didn't want it, you could have said no. I don't think she had time to say no, dude. You kind of just shoved it in her mouth. Like, you asked her and then you did it. You didn't wait for a response. She contemplated the discarded snotty morsel, then gulped it up. Ew! It's not like you haven't had my cupcakes before. Swallowing, Pinkie turned her attention to a small can on the tray. She removed the lid, revealing that it was filled with red-hot coals. Oh, this isn't going to be good, is it? Lying on top of the coals were several large nails. As the adrenaline filled her veins, Dash began to panic again. Picking up the can, Pinkie walked over to Dash's left, holding some tongs with her mouth. Pinkie carefully picked up a nail and positioned it at the seam between her victim's front legs and hoof. Between her victim's front left leg and hoof. She's gonna nail her down. I don't understand. No, Pinkie, Dash screamed. No, no. The hammer came down. The nail punctured Dash's skin. The white hot burning was too much. Dash screamed as she pulled and thrashed at the braces, causing her raw skin to rub and tear. Pinkie tried to line up another nail, but couldn't find her aim, and let out a frustrated grunt. When Pinkie brought the hammer back to take a wild swing, Dash burst out crying, begging, "Please stop, please, please stop." Pinkie rolled her eyes, putting down the hammer and tongs. She walked back in front of her friend and stared pensively at the broken Pegasus. Gilda hadn't even cried this much when she had a live paraspite. I don't know what that. Hold on. We're going to do some investigating, friends. Hold on. Are insect-like creatures that first appeared Swarm of the Century as main antagonists. The name Parasprite is an portmanteau of, a mythical forest creature from folklore. To tribble, voracious appetites and rapid multiplication turn them from pets. Okay. So they're like tribbles. Gilda didn't even cry this much when she had a live Parsprite stuffed down her throat. Pinkie thought for a moment about what to do next, then had a sudden spark of inspiration. Rotating a wheel on the rack, Pinkie laid Dash on her back. You mean she wasn't on her back? I thought she had been on her back. Whatever. Then moved to Dash's hind legs, bringing the can with her. Picking up her tools, Pinkie drove a searing hot spike of metal directly into the bottom of Dash's hoof. Ow! Ow! As Dash yelled in pain, Pinkie moved around and drove a second nail into the other hoof. Ow! Next, Pinkie went back to her cart and located an enormous battery and controller, which she dragged over to where she was working. She tied copper wires between the terminals and the nails driven into Dash's hooves. Yeah, that's gonna suck. Then gave Dash a wink and flipped the switch. Electricity rocked through Dash's body. The blue pony reacted immediately. Her body seized and her muscles snapped taut. Dash's hips thrust skyward, her eyes rolled back, and she let out a deep throat-shredding cry. Pinkie giggled and danced in place, then reached down and turned up the juice. Oh god, this has gotta suck hardcore. Dash convulsed uncontrollably and her bladder emptied once more. You know, I don't think your bladder fills up that fast. I don't think if you've already peed yourself, I don't think you can pee yourself again, because there's nothing in there anymore. But whatever. After about 5 minutes, Pinkie shut off the power. Wisps of steam rose from the singed fur around Dash's hooves, and the area reeked of cooked flesh and burnt enamel. Pinkie roasted Dash. Roast. It's rotated. I read it as roasted. Pinkie rotated Dash upright again and tried snap. What? Pinkie rotated Dash upright again and tried snap the drooling, delirious pony back to attention. Okay, there should be a 2 in there. Tried to snap the drooling, delirious pony back to attention. Dash, Rainbow Dash, wake up! Dash moaned and managed to give a modicum of weak acknowledgement. Pinkie studied her handiwork, then reached into her medicine bag and produced a large syringe. Alright, time for the last round. Dash focused blurrily on the needle, which Pinkie took as a question as to what it was. This is a little something to make the pain go away, Pinkie informed Dash as she walked around to her victim's ruined back. Dash flinched as Pinkie jabbed the needle into the lower part of the blue pony's spine. Moving in front of her friend again, Pinkie leaned down and elaborated. In a few minutes you won't be able to feel anything below your rib cage. Then you'll be able to stay awake to watch the harvest. Well, that'll be tons of fun, I'm sure. Dash started to cry again. Pinkie, she choked out. Yeah, I want to go home, Dash sobbed. Yeah, I can see wanting to do that, replied the party pony. Sometimes I just want to give up, just say, I'm done with this mess and go to bed. But you know what? You can't shrug off your responsibilities. You got to pull yourself up and meet the challenges ahead head on. That's the only way you're gonna get ahead in life. Dash hung her head and cried. Minutes passed as the drug took effect. Eventually, Dash was completely numb from the chest to her flanks. At this point, Pinkie approached with a scalpel, glancing at Dash and smiling. Pinkie made a long horizontal cut across the Pegasus pony's pelvis, just above her crotch. Moving up Dash's body, Pinkie made a similar incision under her ribs. Finally, Pinkie made a long vertical cut down Dash's stomach, connecting the first two. And we're about to have a really bad pun again. This is not funny. Looks like I got my eye on you, Dash, Pinkie giggled. Joy of joys. With a moist, gooey sound, the flaps of skin opened. The sight of her own organs and the lack of feeling caused Dash's breathing to intensify. Pinkie carefully sliced open Dash's abdominal sac and grabbed her large intestines. As she separated the organ from the rest of the digestive tract and pulled it out of the new cavity, whatever. Pinkie grew joyful. Laughing as she gutted her friend, Pinkie began to make jokes. Dash, growing weaker from this new source of blood loss, tried desperately to shut out the macabre comedy act. Look at me, I'm Rarity, Pinkie laughed, slinging the intestinal tube around her neck and spraying blood in all directions. Isn't my new scarf so pretty? Reaching back inside, she sliced the smaller intestine off from the bowels, squeezing out the excess excrement. Pinkie filled the slimy organ through... Yeah, it's supposed to be filed. I'm not sure if that's spelled properly or not. Probably not. Pinkie filed the slimy organ through her teeth and dragged it back and forth. Dentists say you gotta floss every day, Dash. Dash was barely aware of what was going on anymore. The shock was causing her to fade. Disappointed, Pinkie dived back into the blue pony's guts, ramping up her routine. Aw, don't go yet, Dash, Pinkie started, pulling out the rest of Dash's organs, pausing with each removal. I know I can be a real pancreas, but you know I'm just kidney with you. You really got to learn to liver it up. Boy, these jokes are getting bladder. Yes, they are. Guess you gotta develop a stomach for them. You know, if there was a real person in front of me who thought this was funny, not the situation going on, but like just these series of jokes, like they thought it was so funny that they were like telling this to a doctor or something, I'd go up there and be like, shut up, smack. Pinkie placed the discarded body parts into a bucket, keeping the last one for a bit longer. Ooh, bagpipes, she said, placing the end of Dash's esophagus in her mouth and the stomach in her armpit. She squeezed, and a spurt of acid hit her tongue. Ew! Oh, hey, look, there's your cupcake, Dash. Cupcake? Dash didn't hear her tormentor. She had slipped from consciousness minutes ago. Pinkie, not yet satisfied, hit Dash with another adrenaline shot. Dash woke up for the last time, her heart pounding. Warm blood flowed out of her wound in her chest, in great spurts. It wouldn't be long now. Pinkie brought Dash around onto her back again and straddled the blue pony's chest, scalpel at the ready. You know, Rainbow Dash, I'm disappointed. I thought you would have lasted longer. I really wanted to spend more time with you before we got here, but I guess it's my fault. I should have taken it a little slower. Oh well, it was really nice knowing you, Dash. The blade slunk into the blue throat and worked its way up to Dash's chin, coming back down Pinkie's scalpel, then circled Dash's neck. The last thing Rainbow Dash felt was her skin being cut away from her skull, and the metal of the blade scraping her teeth. Then she was gone. Pinkie Pie stared into the mirror. She had done a really good job, even keeping the eyelids. She winked, and Dash winked back. Pinkie smiled. But still, she was sad that her friend was now gone. Dash had only lasted 50 minutes, not nearly as long as Pinkie had wanted. She looked back at the cadaver hanging in the center of the room, the last of her friend's fluid straining into a pan. Yep, no more Rainbow Dash. Oh, I can't go down any further. As she looked, Pinkie cocked her head. She began to take notice of the fact that there really wasn't much damage to the corpse. In fact, the pink pony mused, I think. An idea exploded in her head. She was good at sewing, and she had all the pieces. All she had to do was put them back together. Yeah, she had to get some stuffing, and bingo, she'd have Rainbow Dash forever. In fact, thought Pinkie, that's what she'd do for all her best friends when their numbers came up. She was so excited she skipped right over to the body with her skinner to get started. The cupcakes could wait. Pinkie Pie had a friend to make. You know, out of this story and Sweet Apple Massacre, I'm going to really have to say that maybe I'm a little morbid, but while this story is technically more dark and worse than the previous story, I liked this story. It really seemed to be going to the same old route as the last story, but then it actually got creepy, and I'm like, that appeals to a part of me. Like, actual creepy, dark stuff appeals to me because I do like horror. Like I said, there was no sex in this, but I do like non-con, and I do appreciate that there was no rape at all going on in this story. That was nice. Some of it is, granted, it's ponies killing ponies. Cute bug-eyed ponies killing cute bug-eyed ponies. But, some of it was unrealistic. Like the balloon body organs. Like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. That really, I was in a good place. I was in a good horrific place. I was in my happy horror house, and then that happened, and I'm like, that just kind of kills the, hey, something really fucking disturbing and creepy is going on. There wasn't a glorification of gross shit. It makes sense that something so horrible happened, she'd pee and shit herself, but that wasn't glorified, that wasn't touched or played with, which I'm happy with. It was just mentioned because, it makes sense in a situation like that. That's what you would do. I think as a horror story, this does really well, walking you through, somebody being caught up in some crazy psycho killer who is clearly out of their mind. I like it. Am I really gonna recommend it to anybody? No. Should you recommend it to anybody? No. I really wasn't expecting to like it, but I like the horror aspect of it. I think that whoever wrote this, who wrote this again, Sergeant Spreekles, rather they wrote it as a hateful, a hateful story like the previous Sweet Apple Massacre or Star Turds was written with a malicious hate for the fandom. I think this person actually really seems to like horror. I mean, granted, you could probably say they don't like maybe this one certain character, but I think they did a good job at it being horror, horror inspired. And so I really like that because it's more horrifying than it's disgusting or just really meant to upset you and things like that. It has kind of the same trap lead in to what that Star Turds has, that the Pokemon story had, that Sweet Apple Massacre had. But maybe it's because I've already went in this with the idea, after reading Sweet Apple Massacre, that it's going to be this kind of story. But I don't really feel bored by it because, I mean, obviously you could hear me. I got excited. I got into it. I thought it was interesting. If you like legitimate horror stories, and I would say you don't particularly care for or really like or invested into My Little Pony or its characters, and you want a good kind of horrific horror story, so to speak, this is good. This is up your alley. You'll probably like it. And people who kind of like this, I like the Saw movies. I really liked Saw. Granted, this sort of does seem like torture, horribleness for the sake of horribleness, but I ended up really liking this. I like the horror aspect that the story had going for it. Some of the words were missing a word or two or some letters, like in two places. I think this is really the first bad fic I've ever really had to say about that, with the exception of My Immortal. When I think about it in retrospect, I can say I liked Me Against the World and its sequel. I still don't like Star Turds. I'm still not as bothered by the Pokemon story as I probably would have been had I not read Star Turds first. I don't know, maybe because it's a bit later or something, but I like this story. I can legitimately say after I read it that I like it. I'd probably read it again. So I don't really know what more to say about it. It would really help if I had another person with me to have this discussion with, but past the points I've already brought up, which I don't even know if you could call them points. That's about how I feel about it. I like it. I'll read it again eventually. Again, it's probably because I don't know anything about the show. If I had had an investment in the show, this probably would have been more upsetting or shocking. But with the horror elements, like I said, I'm a horror fan. I liked Jason, Freddy Krueger, Chucky, Jeepers Creepers, Saw movies. I love the Saw movies. I'm not particularly fond of gross horror, so anything involving vomit or shit or that kind of stuff, it does not entertain me. This concludes the second of the challenge stories. I'm actually surprised I enjoyed this story. I liked it a lot. Feel free to leave a comment telling me what you thought of the story, or, your initial feelings on it. Since I ain't got any co-hosts, I'll talk to you guys, and you guys let me know. Feel free to leave even more recommendations or make new challenge fics. It does not have to be My Little Pony, but if you have more tastes of the such, more childlike tastes, feel free to leave those recommendations to me. I will read them. Again, if I have not seen the show, I can only base my opinion of the story on what the story itself gives me. So hopefully, I'll get some really good recommendations, and I'm able to have Hushicho or Hawk, or both, come and hang out with me next time. I probably won't be reading any My Little Pony for the next several stories, because I've already read 2 in a row. Technically 3, but that'll be an upcoming story after about 3 more stories from now. So, sorry that I liked it, I guess. I know it's probably disturbing for people who really like the show and know the characters and their personalities. But I felt as a horror story, in and of itself as a horror story, once it got to the horror elements, it was really good. I think the lead-in could be stronger. If we went strictly for a horror story, the lead-in, could be better. Maybe give us more time with both characters, instead of assuming I know who the characters are and their personalities. And that's about it. So, I'm Caleb Cat, and thanks for listening, guys. Bye.